This week's column is about sportswear. Now, fashion designers like to give the impression that in the summer they're all out partying in Ibiza or lying by a pool in Tuscany, but last summer I think a lot of them were actually watching the Olympics, because when you got to the fashion shows in September it was pretty obvious that there was a big sportswear influence on a lot of people's catwalks. In fact, when we went to the Stella McCartney Adidas show and walked in, instead of a catwalk there were actual Olympic athletes. So the sportswear look in fashion is really nothing to do with sportswear that you've got in your gym kit. What we're talking about here is we've got like just a very loose, simple vest with no embroidery on it. This is a parka which is by a label called Mother of Pearl. And the idea is kind of a vest, like a sports vest, and then something very oversized that you've put over the top of it. So the proportion contrast is kind of deliberate. And with fastenings, you want to look for things like drawstring and elastic rather than buttons. It's not often you see tracksuit bottoms on the catwalk in Milan, but they did have them last season at Sportmax. A bit like these ones, which are from Zara. In London, there was one label, Peter Jensen, who did tracksuit bottoms with trainers, but I'm not recommending you wear trainers with this look. Betty Jackson at London Fashion Week had little drawstring gathered at the waist, shorts and shirts. Shorts kind of a bit like this one, except this is from Lacoste. And she styled them with like a ruffled blouse and then bare legs and really high-heeled shoes, and it was a very pretty look. This parka is by Calvin Klein, and this parka is kind of like a cross between a parka and an evening coat. I mean, there is absolutely nothing really sporty about it. Of the parkas we've got here today, I reckon this is probably the most practical. This is probably the only one that would actually be any use to you if you were caught out in the rain. It's kind of modelled on the yellow Cornish trawlermans. Do they have trawlermen in Cornwall? Anyway, the bright yellow ones, and this is a more muted kind of fashiony version of that colour and that look.